I was about 25 or so, I guess, and I was finishing my master's degree in geomorphology. And I loved the science, but I wasn't interested in being a scientist. I had no contacts in the photo world. I had no knowledge of the photo worlds, but youthful brashness can take you a long way, make things happen. So that's how it worked.
James Balog is documenting the melting of glaciers around the world, the most visible manifestations of climate change on the planet. And he's making it possible for scientists to watch, too.
James Balog is founder and director of the Extreme Ice Survey. He's joining us now from Denver. James, thanks for being with us.
My pleasure, thank you.
And we'll also have more of our special report on a man who lets his pictures do the talking.
As a photographer, it's exciting to see this stuff, but as a citizen of the world, you go, this is horrible.
And consider who NASA is sending as a delegate to the Climate Change Summit in Copenhagen. Jim Balog, a photographer with the group Extreme Ice Survey.
Prior to '06, the glacier had retreated 10, 11 miles, and now we've added, just in the past few years, another 2.5 miles. So I created this project called the Extreme Ice Survey, or EIS. The initial goal was to put out 25 cameras for 3 years, and they would shoot every hour as long as it was daylight. We would download the cameras every so often and turn those individual frames into video clips that would show you how the landscape was changing. I thought that basically you could just buy all this time-lapse equipment off the shelf, slam it together, and put it out there. I was so naive about that. There was a custom computer that needed to be built, and there were 1,000 little engineering details that needed to be worked out, and a lot of trial and error because people hadn't built this stuff before. And it was clear to me it would have to be a team effort.
That into photography, but I talked him into letting me come up here and have a look at the system because I was curious, and I really wanted to do whatever I could to get my foot in the door.
Spav is the field assistant in Iceland.
You ready? As ready as I can be.
These are just really attractive because I think they're more picturesque and they're still big glaciers.
Jason had a deep, deep well of experience about Greenland's glaciers, about Greenland logistics, about what the glaciers were doing. Tad's a glaciologist. He's the grandfather, the godfather of the knowledge base about those glaciers in Alaska.
I have to wrap my knees for the day's festivities. This knee has had 2 surgeries on it already, and it really could use a third.
Hey, what? I'm just saying Jesus Christ. I'm just emphasizing how bad the weather is. Yeah, I don't need it. I get it.
As we're setting up the cameras, we also set up a video camera and had it pointed right there at that peninsula, and we just had it rolling, just in case.
It's been shooting the entire time. Fantastic. Here's the memory of the camera, and this is actually, that's an interesting thought. This is the memory of the landscape. That landscape is gone. It may never be seen again in the history of civilization, and it's stored right here. What I'm here to do tonight is bring to you tangible visual evidence of the immediacy of climate change itself. Glaciers matter because they're the canary in the global coal mine. It's the place where you can see climate change happening. Without further ado, let me tell you what we've been seeing out there. This is a glacier called the Solheim Glacier. We're looking down on it. Now we turn on our time lapse. You can see the terminus retreating, you can see this river being formed, you can see it deflating. We go back a couple years in time, that's where it started. That's where it ended a few months ago. Now down onto the side of the glacier, looking across the terminus, this is what we see. Look at this. You'll see deflation happening here as the heat takes away the surface of the glacier and the surface drops. At the same time, a stream is undercutting it from a glacier that's melting faster up valley, washing this thing away. The vast majority of glaciers in the world are retreating. Glacier National Park, Montana will need a new name. We'll be calling it Glacier-less National Park by the middle of the century because all the glaciers will be gone. There's such a strange, bizarre fascination in seeing these things you don't normally get to see come alive. We're up at the Columbia Glacier in Alaska. This is a view of what's called the calving face. This is what one of our cameras saw over the course of a few months. The action at Columbia is in part due to local glacier dynamics and in part due to climate change. When my daughters, Simone and Emily, look at me 25 or 30 years from now and say, what were you doing? When global warming was happening and you guys knew what was coming down the road, I want to be able to say, guys, I was doing everything I knew how to do.